Alright guys, hey, it's Tina. Welcome to the Qweendom. Okay, so today I'm going to give y'all the date. I usually don't, but you'll understand why. Today is May the 30th. And I know the previous videos that you guys saw, because I'm going to put this video up on Tuesday. I'm going to put this video up on Tuesday, and the date of Tuesday is June the 5th, I think. Yeah, I'm going to put this video up on, I'm going to put this video up on June the 5th, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so the previous two vlogs that you saw was, of course, my baby moon. Me and Curtis went on a baby moon, and we had a great time. We went to Jacksonville. But literally about 2 days after we came back from Jacksonville, I went into labor at 30 weeks exactly and had my most recent baby girl. So I'm going to just go over everything that went on. I was going to do like a pregnancy update for you guys. I guess I'll do the last 3 weeks of my pregnancy, and then get into what happened in terms of me going in labor. So the last vlog I did was 27 weeks, and I told you I was craving Krispy Kreme donuts. Week 28, I began to leak urine. Well, I didn't begin to leak urine. I had actually been leaking urine for, oh gosh. I had actually been leaking urine for 3 to 4 weeks actually, and I knew that it was urine because that's what it was. It was urine. I smelled it, and you know, it wasn't any gushes of fluid or anything, so that's exactly what it was. That was week 28, and it says I was leaking urine 3 or 4 weeks now, had low kicks. I felt it in my butt, and my hips began to hurt then. Week 29 is when we went on the baby moon. I was definitely feeling more crabby and more nauseous, which was different. I started to get back to feeling nauseous like before. Little bit just before I would eat, and then like right after I finished eating. Like I did, you know, when I can't say, guess when I first found out I was pregnant, right? And y'all know how that story went. Week 30, you know, you guys know that week 30. So I put week 30, losing mucus plug, more uncomfortable Braxton Hicks, and I actually edited this note in my phone last on the 22nd of May. So okay, so we got back from Jacksonville at about 1 a.m. on Monday morning, which was the 21st, and got off the flight, and I was feeling uncomfortable. I was telling Curtis, like, I feel, you know, a little bit more uncomfortable than normal, whatever. I'm sure it's Braxton Hicks. Had a doctor's appointment on Thursday, so if I wasn't feeling well, I was just gonna call my doctor, let my doctor know, go to labor and delivery. So surprisingly, once vacation is over, you get no days off, literally. So I had to work on Monday morning. I was supposed to work 7:30. I was supposed to work 7 to 7, but since we got back home to Maryland at like 1, still had to get the kids. We didn't even get home till like 2:30, so I actually went in to work late. I think I might have got there like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. I was still said to myself I was still going to do my 12 hours. So I was there till about 9, but at about 4 p.m., went to the bathroom. Many of my trips to the bathroom were the normal, and it was the same. So went to the bathroom, and when I got up, I noticed that my TMI, my panties were a little bit more wet than normal. So, you know, it was something that was put in the back of my mind, and I was on alert. So went home, took a shower when I got home, and, you know, wind it down and relax and all that kind of stuff. But throughout the entire night, I had to change my panties like 3 times, which was very much out of the norm. again, still put in my brain like, okay, this is a little strange. It's something like this has never happened. You know, then I started thinking, I hope that my water hasn't broken. Now, of course, this was my 4th child, so I said, you know, this is probably the urine again. So had to go to work on Tuesday. Was supposed to work 3 to 11. Went into work, was still feeling uncomfortable throughout the day, and I was checking in with Curtis, just letting him know, like, if I don't feel better, I'm just gonna go to labor and delivery. So I went to work at 3 o'clock. At 8:30, when I was at my job, I had enough. I was still leaking this fluid that I thought was urine at the time, and the Braxton Hicks no longer felt like Braxton Hicks. They started to feel like contractions in my back, and that's how I usually labor, a lot of pain in my back. So went to my charge nurse, and I just said to her, like, I think that I'm having contractions and I need to leave. So it wasn't a problem. She let me leave. She called the nurse and supervisor. I work at a hospital anyway, if I haven't said that before. Called the nurse and supervisor, told the nurse and supervisor, and it wasn't an issue. So that was 8:30, because I said to myself I would tell her at 8:30. So I told her at 8:30. Then from where I work to the hospital, it's probably 20 minutes maybe. So I drove from my job to the hospital, still calling Curtis, let him know, you know, I'll just call you if something is going on. So get to labor and delivery, and they checked my urine, and they hooked me up to the monitor. Literally 5 minutes later, the doctor came into the room, and she was like, you're having contractions. So I was like, okay. And she said they were consistent. She said, I'm going to check you just to make sure your water hasn't broken, and we'll go from there. So she set me up in another room to check me, and as soon as she checked me, she said, your water has broken and you're 6 centimeters. So at this point, I began to panic, because I knew that I was only 30 weeks, and I had never had any issues with my pregnancies. And I was scared. I'm going to be completely honest. So of course I called my boyfriend and called my mom, and I don't even know what I said. I know that I was crying a lot, and they rushed up there. So the doctor hooked me up to the monitors and all of that kind of stuff, and they did an ultrasound. And we all know, mothers who have had kids before know that the ultrasound weight and length is usually off. So they estimated her to be about 3 pounds 1 ounce, and the doctor was like, that's a little small for 30 weeks. So just like I said, they proceeded to hook me up and put me in a room, and the doctor said to me, we're going to monitor you. More than likely you'll be here in the morning until the morning under observation, because this is your 4th kid. Like, I'm going to try everything that I can do to try to keep this baby in, but if we can't, we're going to do everything we can possibly do too, of course. So of course she contacted the NICU, because she noticed that my contractions were still coming, and you know, my water had been broken already, and at this point the assumption was that it broke at about 4 p.m. on Monday, and we already know it was Tuesday evening at about 9:30 at this point. So the doctor said, I'm going to give you a betamethasone shot, which is a steroid shot that they give you to help to mature the baby's lungs. Just like I said, my mom and my boyfriend rushed up there, and you know, they had came in and comforted me really quickly. And as I was just sitting there, they, you know, put my feet up in the stirrups so that the doctor could check me again, and I started to feel more fluid leaking from my vaginal area. And the doctor, you know, she was like, she's bleeding. So I began to hemorrhage. Of course, they're checking me and the baby and heart rates and all that kind of stuff, and the doctor's like, well, everything looks okay with you and the baby, but I don't know where this blood is coming from, and I don't want the situation to get any worse. So she said, and I mean, like, I could feel the blood coming out of me at this point. So, and it was just like gushing. It was like gushing. So the doctor said to me, the next contraction that you have, we're going to have a baby. I want you to push. It's exactly what I did. I pushed one time, literally, and she was here. The baby was here. Of course, the NICU team was already there, so they rushed over to her. The doctor was still with me. Curtis was still with me. He went to go check on the baby, check her breathing and all that kind of stuff. And she was looking okay. She was looking okay. But me, on the other hand, so once I pushed her out, I was still bleeding, still hemorrhaging, ultimately, and my placenta was not coming out. So the doctor did everything that she could do. She, like, massaged my uterus, like, pushed down, I mean, everything that she could possibly do to try to get my placenta out. After about 10 minutes, the placenta finally comes out, and she says to me, you know, like, it took a while. It took a while for your placenta to come out. So, even after my placenta came out, I was still bleeding. So, she was saying to me, like, I don't know where this blood is coming from. I don't know whether it's the placenta is torn from your uterine wall, or, you know, you just have, I don't know. She said, I don't know. She said, so, we're going to have to take you to the OR. I've never had any kind of any kind of procedure at all in my entire life. So, again, I was nervous. And she was saying that, they had to take me because she wasn't sure if all the placenta tissue had came out. And we know that if all the tissue doesn't come out, you can have, like, bleeding issues, really. So, I said to her, I don't want to be put to sleep. Like, I work in a hospital. I know there are many complications of people being put to sleep. No, I don't have any health problems, but clearly I do now. So, I guess the anesthesiologist was a doctor as well. So, he came in immediately, and he was like, we have to put you to sleep. If we don't, you can have other complications. So, I didn't have any other choice. So, I said a prayer, went down, and when I woke back up, you know, I was just trying to get my bearings and everything. And the doctor was just like, you know, everything went okay. You know, she told me that she had got all the placenta tissue out. They had to do a D&C on me. And she said, even after we took you to the OR, well, no, she said, while in the OR, there was a certain portion of your uterus that still wasn't contracting like it needed to stop the bleeding. So they had to ultimately put a balloon in one section of my uterus to stop the bleeding. So, I was there Thursday, on Wednesday, you know, they have different doctors on, so a different doctor came around, and they proceeded to slowly but surely take the fluid out of the balloon to see how my uterus was going to tolerate it. They took half out 1 hour, waited a whole nother hour to take the remaining out, and even after they took the remaining amount of fluid out of the balloon, the doctor was like, I still want the balloon to stay in for just a little longer, just to see how you do. Thank God that once they took the balloon out, everything was okay. On Thursday, just before I was discharged, the doctor who had delivered the baby came back in and just was like, you know, we're thinking that you had a placental abruption. And she said, I'm not sure if you want to have other children, but if so, I want you to be mindful of the fact that, you know, you had this issue this time, and women who have preterm labor issues don't usually have it once. They have it with subsequent pregnancies as well. And, you know, I really didn't have anything to say. You guys know the story of me finding out about this pregnancy ultimately, so it was something that wasn't expected. I will say, the baby was born. If you saw one of my previous videos, I revealed her name, and if you don't know, you can check a previous video. She was born. She was actually 3 pounds 12 ounces. She was on the higher end of the spectrum in terms of weight for me only being 30 weeks. at this point on today, May the 30th, she is doing well. Initially, she was on antibiotics because they thought that she might have taken her first breath, and since I was bleeding, you know, the blood might have gotten to her lungs and stuff like that, and like her blood counts were really wacky initially. They put on antibiotics. Initially, they had her on sugar water, then they put her on TPN, which is like a total parental nutrition type of thing through a feeding tube. But over the past couple of days, she's actually been changed to that, to my own breast milk. My breast literally came in when I was in the hospital, probably on Thursday. So I've been pumping profusely, have an amazing freezer stash at this moment. And initially she was started on 4 cc's of breast milk, then she went to 8, then 12, 16. She's actually at 20, and she's only a week old, a week and a day today. She's doing okay. She doesn't have any breathing issues. She does have, it's called the nasal cannula, not the oxygen, but the tubes in your nose. It's on room air though. They were concerned about her stomach initially because it was a little more round than what they wanted it to be. But all in all, she's doing okay. They're definitely not talking about when, or I'm not going to say that. Okay, they're definitely not talking about when she's going to come home yet, because, you know, it's May the 30th. I was literally due 2 months from now. So the idea is that more than likely it will be towards the end of July, definitely July, that she'll be coming home. As of yesterday, she was back at her birth weight, because she was 3 pounds 12 ounces, and she's gained a couple of ounces. She's actually back at 3 pounds 12 ounces. And this entire pregnancy thing, this time around, not different in terms of pregnancy, but me finding out about her, complete surprise. I always think, like, what if I didn't go to the emergency room on that day? Like, who knows? And then the delivery, like, I have no words for just how this experience has affected me. I can be honest with you guys. My emotions literally are all over the place. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with just the fact that I'm not pregnant anymore. I miss being pregnant at this point, even though I struggled with accepting this pregnancy for such a long time. I definitely don't blame myself for the preterm labor thing, but it's a lot. It's a lot emotionally. I have a lot of support, of course, my kids, my boyfriend, my mom, like my whole family. But it's just a lot. I've never been in a situation before. I've never had a baby and not been able to bring the baby home with me. So, like, more than anything, that's what's weighing on my heart really heavy. I'm grateful that I see her progression every day, because I definitely go see her every day. She's so beautiful. I will say that I'm not comfortable with sharing photos with people yet. She is still hooked up to a lot of tubes, and just as a parent, I'm not comfortable with, like, you know, sending those photos out like I would normally if I had gone full term. You know, I'll say that you guys will see a picture or video more than likely when she comes home. And I'll end the vlog with, please keep me and my family in you guys' prayers. I'm just trying to pray my way through and be completely honest with myself more than anything about how I'm feeling. And when people ask, I'm honest with them. You know, a lot of people, oh, well, how are you doing? I'm doing okay today. I'm honest. You know, it changes every day. It changes every day. You know, I'm blessed to have all of my children, and I love them immensely. But it's difficult having 3 kids at home, and then one that I have to go visit at the hospital, and she's mine, you know. I know this video is very different than what I usually put out, but I wanted to be honest. I struggled with whether to put out my travel vlogs first, or to be honest with you guys about the fact that I have had the baby at this point. Yeah. As usual, thanks so much rewind. As usual, thank you so very much for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And for anyone who has been through a preterm labor situation, you know, leave the comments down below. I just need prayers, you guys. I know that God gives, what did they say? God gives the most difficult task to the strongest people. And I know that he knows and thinks, I know that he knows that I'm strong, but I'm struggling right now. I'm struggling, but it's okay. Okay, I'm not gonna say the crime fest is over because it's not, but thank you guys so very much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Later.